Hello, everyone. Alec Frangetta with my informative speech. Today, I'm going to be informing you about the worst, at least what I think to be the worst team in the history of American football, or the NFL, however you want to put it. But I think we should all know I'm talking about the Detroit Lions. But it wasn't always bad for the Detroit Lions. They actually won 4 championships prior to the NFL AFL merger, which I will explain what that is in a couple of minutes. 4 championships prior to the NFL AFL merger. 1935, they won 26-7 against the New York Giants. 1952, they won 17-7 against the Cleveland Browns. 1953, they won 17-16 against the Cleveland Browns again. Yet then in 1954, the Detroit Lions make the NFL championship again, play against the Cleveland Browns again, and having to lose 56-10. But our Lions did not forget about that. They come back 1957 NFL championship again against the Cleveland Browns again, and we come out beat them 59-14. And the quarterback. Well, I don't know what the quarterback was in 1935, but for the championships, 1952, 1953, they went to the championship 1954, and they won again 1957, was quarterback Bobby Lane. He was always the fans loved him. He was known as the best Detroit Lions quarterback ever. Makes sense. 3 championships in 9 years on the team, but in 1958, the Lions decided to trade Bobby Lane to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Shout out Dan Snyder. Decided to trade him to the Pittsburgh Steelers for, I think, an offensive lineman maybe, and 2 draft picks and I think an offensive lineman. And supposedly, when Bobby Lane left the locker room for the last time of the Detroit Lions, he said something along the lines of, "You will not win another championship for 50 years." It's a little worse than that, Bobby. I'll tell you that right now. But yeah, 4 championships prior to the NFL AFL merger, which is really impressive. But the NFL AFL merger was in June 8th, 1966. Essentially, this was just the AFL was just another competitive football league in America that was on the rise. And they were stealing talent, they were stealing coaches, fans, anything really from the NFL. So in 1966, on June 8th, the NFL decides to buy out the AFL and merge them to one, and this soon creates the AFC and the NFC, the 2 conferences of the NFL. AFC being the teams from the AFL, NFC being the teams from the NFL. But this brought over the New York Titans, which soon became the New York Jets, Boston Patriots, which we all can assume is the New England Patriots, Buffalo Bills, go Bills, the Houston Oilers, who are now the Tennessee Titans. You would think maybe that they're the Houston Texans, but 96, the GM of the Houston Oilers decided to move his team to Nashville and become the Tennessee Titans. Then in 2002 is when the Texans came back, or when the Houston football came back as the Texans, because they just were sick of not having football in Houston, I guess. They also brought over what was then the LA Chargers, a couple of years later became the San Diego Chargers. Denver Broncos, Oakland Raiders, the Dallas Texans. Well, they were the Kansas City Chiefs at that point, because in '63 the Dallas Texans moved to Kansas City because they were in the AFL, Dallas Texans were in the NFL, Dallas Cowboys were in the NFL, and they just couldn't compete with the Cowboys. Or pulling way more fans and just more money. So he decides to pack them up, move them to Kansas City in 1963. And then this is the start of the AFC and NFC. And then 1966, when it actually happens, comes the NFL. But let's get back to where we were talking about the Lions. The worst team in my opinion, since AFL-NFL merger. Lions have been in the playoffs 13 times and have a record of 1-13. We'll go through these. 1970, we lost to the Cowboys 5-0. Sounds like a very riveting game. 1982, lost 31-7 to the Redskins. 83, lost 24-23 to the 49ers. This close. 91, here we go. Look at this. A win. We beat the Cowboys 38-6. Just to go to the Redskins next week and lose 41-10. 93 lost 28-24 to the Packers. 94 lost 16-12 to the Packers, first round. All of these are first round. 95 lost 58-37 to the Eagles. 99 lost 27-13 to the Redskins. But I always hate how everyone brings up the Bills as this horrible playoff run. We lost 4 Super Bowls in a row in the 90s, but 93, 94, 95, 97, 99, the Lions got bounced first round every year. But 2011, Matt Stafford era, we lost 45-28 to the Saints. 2014, we lost 24-20 to the Cowboys. 2016, lost 26-6 to the Seahawks, and all three of those are also first round exits for our Detroit Lions. But through those 14 playoff games, our Detroit Lions were outscored 351-228, and that accounted for 0 Super Bowl appearances and 1 conference championship, which was our 41-10 rout by the Redskins. But since the merger, the Lions have rolled out 17 different coaches. One that always happens to stand out to me is Rod Marinelli. He was coach for 3 years, 2006, 2007, 2008. He went 10-38, never made the playoffs, and coached the worst, which I think is the worst team in NFL history, the 2008 Detroit Lions. And also post-merger, Lions rolled out 37 different starting quarterbacks, who I think Matt Stafford is the best. Well, I mean, Bobby Lane probably is better since he won the championships, but that was pre-NFL merger, so I don't count that. But Matt Stafford's been there for 9 years, and the Lions just decided to waste his prime. He's broken records. I think he's one of the best quarterbacks, at least I've seen play. He's a great player. But so we'll get into the 2008 Detroit Lions went 0-16, the only team to go 0-16 besides the 2017 Cleveland Browns. But the way I look at it is Cleveland Browns in 2017 went 0-16, but in 2015 they went 1-15, so it wasn't much of a surprise. But in 2007 the Detroit Lions were 7-9. Well, I don't know what the hell happened, but whatever. 2008 Detroit Lions trotted out 3 different starting quarterbacks. They were outscored 517-268. After the season, 6 members of the staff were fired. 5 of them were coaches. 1 was in the front office, but there's probably more that I just couldn't find. Through over the 16 games, they allowed 32.31 points against per game, which ends up being the 3rd worst in NFL history. And this team was also voted the number 1 worst team of all time on NFL Network's Worst Team Ever list, which came out a couple of years ago. But yeah, I hate to seem like a guy just ripping apart this team, because I do like the Lions. I hope the best for the Lions. I hope Matt Stafford gets his ring, but they're really bad. So here we are. Thank you. Happy Wednesday.